So today, in our continuing series, which continues to grow and be successful, we've got Dan from AdXcelerant, who's going to show some great data live from Colorado. And then Noah, I didn't see Noah on earlier. Is Noah here? Okay, good.
I'm ready,
Noah
Barry.
Palansky. And where in Florida are you again, Noah? Oh, no, you're in,
Yeah, I'm up north. Today I'm in Saskatchewan, actually.
right. You're in Saskatchewan. And what we're going to see is a story about sports bars getting great footfall and getting great measurement in the TAIV screens in sports bars and restaurants. And Dan's going to tell us about that. And glad you're all here. We got a good group. Before we get to that, some housekeeping. Please join us. You could hit the QR code on the upper right to make it really easy with your cell phone. This was hugely successful last year. I think we had over 400 people, and it's all about CPG. Last year we had Kleenex. We're going to have some big brands and big agencies on, and it's going to talk about digital out of home and converting CPG monies into your coffers. And I encourage everybody to come and just hit the flow code in the upper right there. I'll give you another moment to do that and sign up for this event, which was one of our more popular events last year. I think Ajay was over 400 people, right? Yeah, and it's sponsored by Quotient, which is a wonderful company and member. And this just slipped right back where I didn't want it to go yet. So join us for that. That's Thursday, June 9th. And we'll be doing it live streaming with our friends at Quotient and some great brands and agencies. And the more we can all start to get packaged goods, the more we will all win. And then please join us. This is live in person, in real life, IRL in Canada. Oh, Canada. Trin is an amazing rock star. She runs the Harry Rosen business, which is a very upscale men's clothier chain throughout Canada. And it is a, do you shop there up in Saskatchewan?
I don't, but maybe I should.
Yeah, I've shopped there. I've been to the Vancouver and the Montreal store, and you should go there, Noah. I'll meet you there. If you meet us at the event, we'll go out. We'll take a visit. And the Trin, we actually may even have a fashion show. Trin is threatening some exciting things for that. And then we have the newly appointed head of all Group M Canada, KJ, as we affectionately call him, or Kevin Johnson. He's a terrific guy. He was previously running one of the Group M agencies. Which one, Ajay? One of the M's.
Mediacom.
Thank you, Mediacom. And he is a great proponent of digital out of home, and he came to our summit this year in New York, the Global Summit, and he's a really sharp, smart guy, and you'll hear great things from him. And then Brenda runs all the marketing for Visa Canada. And once again, we'll talk about what she likes and what she'd like to see from out of home, digital out of home, and there's more to come. So please join us. This is in real life. This is in person, and we're going to have cocktails and webinars and seminars, but everybody's going to be there in person. So we look forward to seeing all of you in the great country of Canada. Hit that flow code for details. June 16th at the Scotiabank Theatre, which is a Cineplex theater, another one of our great TPAA members. And then for those of you that haven't signed up, I don't even know if we have any apartments left, but we have a great program set for Cannes Lions this year. These are the brands. We'll be meeting with heads of media, CMOs, heads of creative at these brands, plus CEOs of these agencies, and more to come. We also have the Yahoo Digital Out of Home cocktail party, and we have a great big dinner planned, and we'll also have some fun planned. And this will be a great way to really get intimate and chat with brand leaders about their activities, what they think about out of home, what they like, maybe even what they don't like, which will be educational. But it's a great informal setting. A lot of it will take place at the Yahoo areas on the beach. And if you're interested, it is an amazing place to really get the center of all marketing, advertising, branding all together in one place in a in a lovely place. So if you do have an interest, get to us soon. We have, I think, about 35 C-level members joining us at this point. And as we've been saying for a while, it's been pretty popular and it's getting pretty crowded. So if you want to join us, it's a great place to meet brands and meet all the rest of our global players. One of my greatest times was when I had our member from Dubai that has screens and elevators, our member from Brazil with screens and elevators, and of course Captivate. And I put them all together at one of our cocktail parties, and they got together and spoke about how they're going to change their world. And that kind of stuff happens at Cannes. So please join us if you can, June 20 to 24th, and let us know. Etc. Any questions? And then we're going to get back to it today. Noah is joining us from the great northwest of Saskatchewan, soon to be in a Harry Rosen suit. And in Colorado, the beautiful place, which is a little gray day today, we're going to hand it over to Dan as well to take us through this. So thank you, everybody. And it's great to see you. Take it away, Dan and Noah.
I think you've got to stop sharing your screen, Barry.
We'll do that. Thank you, Ajay.
So thank you for hosting us. Appreciate it very much. We will not spend a whole lot of time on slides and whatnot, but we are AdXcelerant, and just a little bit of background about us. We're fairly new to the space, probably 3 years now, but our background is we like to bill ourselves as being a advertising rep. That may be a little bit overblown, but our background is in linear cable television and in-venue sports through a partner of ours, Comcast. And we do ad insertion into sports packages like hockey and baseball and basketball, and also out of home now. So we've built our own tech stack from the ground up, and we have also built our own linear ad insertion suite of equipment from some time ago, and also a set-top box, which you're seeing here gloriously on this on the bottom of the screen here. Ad enabled set-top box. Really for the hospitality industry to monetize their set-top boxes and yeah, make a little money off the room costs. So we have, like I said, built that out, and then what we've done is said, you know, the magic here, especially in the out-of-home space, is measuring footfall, right? How many people are going by our screens, how many people are paying attention, and how many people are actually taking some measurable action in terms of the messages that we're sending to them. So we've added a data source into our tech stack that we think is quite amazing. So it's of course, using mobile ad IDs to figure out who's walking by certain events or certain displays. And we have a huge source of data to be able to attribute whether somebody responded to an advertisement, and we can see if they wound up in the place that we wanted them to show up in. And what do they look like? What's the demographic of them? And with that, we can do lookalike audiences. We can do, again, attribution reporting. We can do retargeting. And more importantly, tell our advertisers how many people saw our display. And then when I say our, I mean industry-wide. You know, we work with partners like TAIV, and Noah will tell you what they are doing with the data, and it's very exciting. We are economists and mathematicians and kind of little bit nerdy. So we love the data side of this and what we can do with that. So attribution reporting, just mentioned it. Who walked by a message, and then did they show up someplace that we might have mentioned that we want them to go, or did they simply come back to the place that they were before? So we've got time-based data that we can look back in time and see where people came from and where they went to. And we've got a capability of actually tying devices to addresses. So we can do household extensions in terms of, the adage of, I think somebody's listening in my house because I was searching for a Ford truck. And then my wife started getting ads about Ford trucks. So somebody must be listening. And I guess in a fashion, maybe we are, but it's simply tying mobile IDs to the same addresses and social networks as well. So it's pretty cool stuff. So it's fairly transparent. It's we do answer the question of every media buyer, what did I get? And when did people see my ad? How? And did they do anything about it? The measurable part of it, which is probably the most important part of the data aspect in this place. So that's it for us. It's a quick presentation for us, and I'm going to turn it over to a younger, more handsome guy in Canada to talk about what TAIV is doing with our product. And Noah, you're up.
Well, thank you, Dan. And thank you, Barry, for having me. Despite the fact that I'm not dressed up in a fancy Harry Rosen suit, I'm happy to be here.
You will be, yeah.
What we do, I'm Noah, I'm the CEO at TAIV, and what we do is that we make TV commercials in bars really targeted, really impactful, and really measurable, so you actually know if they're working. So there's three parts to that. There's before the campaign, we have to make sure we're hitting the right people, we're hitting the locations that actually hit the right demographic. There's during the campaign, how do we provide the most immersive takeover experience possible, where everywhere you look, you're seeing this ad and it's unskippable and unmissable. There's after the campaign, how do you actually measure results and make sure that you're driving the top line metrics that you actually care about. And so we work with AdX for the first and the last part of that. How do we target the right people, and then how do we know if it's working? And so to give this a bit of context, I have a quick demo on the next slide, Dan, if you don't mind. Let's see if this works. So you can click play. So this is one of our bars out in Florida. It's going to be a bit choppy because we're screen sharing, but you're going to see it's showing live premium content, like live NFL football, and it cuts the commercial. And now on this location has about 100 screens simultaneously. It's showing the ads, and there's a 4x4 video wall. There's huge projectors. Like, it's really unmissable everywhere you're looking. And when people partner with us, they're showing an ad like that 3 or 4 times an hour on every screen all day long in these locations that are really targeted for the business. And then at the end of the commercial break, it'll just go right back to that live premium content. Dan, if you don't mind, the next slide.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. So big challenge here is that how do you know if the ads are working? So it's a really cool format, but that doesn't actually mean anything if you're not getting results. And we believe that every advertiser that runs a campaign with us should have access to really good measurement. It doesn't really matter if you're running a campaign for a couple hundred or a couple 100,000. You shouldn't have to do a special one-off study. You should have continuous reporting and continuous attribution. And so you can do the next slide. We reached out to AdXcelerant, and we've been working with them to build this. And so there's 3 different models we've been building off their data. Slide down. So the first one's foot traffic attribution. And so this is, if you have a physical storefront, we want to know, hey, does showing this ad in a bar actually increase the number of people that are visiting my storefront? And we don't necessarily assume this is the only touch point. What we want to do is we want to do an incremental lift analysis where we're saying, in the 3 months prior and the year prior, here was the correlation of people who were in the bar that also visited your storefront. And then flash forward to a couple months into the campaign, what's changed? Are more people coming to your storefront? Are people walking over from the bar? Is it helping your brand grow? The next kind we do, slide, is website traffic attribution. So this is for people without a physical storefront. And it's very similar. If they were exposed to the ad, are they visiting the website at a higher rate? And we go under the assumption there's going to be other data, other touch points, because we're an awareness ad, we're top of funnel. What we want to know is, does being exposed to that ad at top of funnel influence the number of people that are going to eventually visit to the ad, all else equal? And the last thing that we can do is, one more slide, retargeting. And so we're able to say, okay, now if you were exposed to this, why don't we show you special creative? Why don't we run an ad on a social platform? And we can see, okay, does being exposed to a TAIV ad at the top of funnel increase your conversion rate at the bottom of funnel? And that's really interesting because something like Google, for example, has a really high CPM. You're paying a lot for every person that clicks on that ad. And so if you can show them a relatively cheap awareness ad and get really good exposure, and then show those same people the lower funnel expensive ads, and you convert at a much higher rate, you're going to have a much more effective campaign. It's going to cost you a lot less to get your customers. You're going to get better results. And so I have a couple of case studies of how we've actually used this data in practice. If you don't mind doing the next slide. So one of our customers is Massage Envy. They're a national massage chain, particularly strong presence in Florida, but I believe they're over most of the US. And they work with us to show ads in bars that are within a 2-mile radius. So their big criteria is they want to be able to walk over. And so we didn't have to use AdX for the targeting. We were just able to look at a map and figure that part out. But what we did do with AdX is that we were able to actually measure the lift. And so we looked at the 3-month period prior to the campaign and the first 3 months of the campaign. And we looked at the percent correlation. So how many people, what percentage of people that were in one of our bars went to Massage Envy before the campaign? And what percentage of people that were in one of our bars went to Massage Envy after the campaign? And we're able to use that using AdXcelerant's data, because they're able to tell us, hey, here are all the IDs in a bar, and here are all the IDs in the retail storefront location. And we built our own model using that data and some other data sources that we collect. And we were able to see that it worked really well. So they got 167 new customers per location per month. It worked out to about 16.6 times ROAS, which is really strong. We've actually been running this campaign in perpetuity since. So they started in Mother's Day. It's coming up on a year pretty soon. And they've been getting great results. And then one other case study is Guinness. And so we were working with them to try and drive incremental lift in venue. And so this one, we used AdX more for figuring out where to target. So we used that demographics info where Guinness told us their customer profile, and we were able to say, okay, we want to reach people between certain ages, certain genders. And we also paired that with some first-party data. Like, for example, Guinness is going to sell better in an Irish pub. So we're going to try and target those types of venues. And we ran a campaign where we said, now within reach, we put up on a screen. And what we saw is that 15% of people who would have otherwise chosen a different beer switched to Guinness. So that's huge. 15% of people made that decision to order a different drink after being exposed to that ad. And because of that, the on-premise influences off-premise. So they were actually able to extrapolate out a really good ROAS from this campaign of how it influenced consumer purchasing behavior down funnel. And a big part of that was AdX's data paired with the immersiveness of the format. So just showing it in a bar, 25 times per customer the entire time they're sitting there, just really made a huge impact. So those are a couple of the ways we've used AdX, and we're constantly exploring others because it's a really cool platform that gives us really good insights and data.